everybody. This is somewhat of a review. I think this is basically after being back home because I was not really in the best possible spot. I wish I would have had a better view for the camera and also better lighting for the different subjects. So yeah, basically what happened today is we had two different trips. One was in the evening, in the morning first, the first one, before noon. So went back in Little Italy. I wanted to test out the battery. By the way, if you're wondering what I'm doing now, I'm using a Poubelle instead of going to get water at the bathroom. So figured I'd best use this technique, especially if eventually I go live in a van or something, replacing water to clean hands with some sort of antiseptic compound could be the best way, especially for washing, things like that. Rapid wash, like daily washes, I would probably use that, and probably use a shower, a real shower, a few times a week, and because I'm a big hand washer, I wash my hands about 3 times per meal, so at least, depending if I'm preparing the food or not. So yeah, using Purell or a liquid and a paper towel would be the best for me, especially in the setting of a van. So yeah, like you see, I'm eating at Harvey's. Took a veggie burger and with cheese. Sadly, the cheese is not the best option, but I didn't have a choice. I was a little bit running out of power around that place, and I was hoping to get to the store before they closed, but on Saturdays our store closed at 5 and it was almost 5 already, so it was too late. And the other place I wanted to go, that you probably saw before on the footage, was a ski recycling place, which have parts that I would like to salvage from them. So I'm gonna have to go back there because they were opened this month, but they closed 1 hour early today, so I got a little tricked there. So yeah, eventually I ended up just trying to finish the battery power to test out what I wanted to do today, which was use the battery up in the morning, come back for a recharge of 1 hour, and see how far 1 hour takes me, because the battery, to my knowledge, is going to be charged at about 80% of charge in 1 hour, and the last 20% is another hour. So it might not be necessary, also might be best for the battery life to charge them just to 80%. The downfall of that, the con of it, is that I get already very relatively short range compared to what I would prefer, what I would like. Ideally I would like 3 times the range that I'm getting right now. So charging in them, the batteries at 80% gives me a range of about 5 kilometers from what I saw today and what I saw. I'm gonna have to calculate it to make sure, but that's pretty much what I got. I also had good wind against me when I came. I probably had the wind back when I came back, and I had a slight slope, 2 slight slopes for a long time, so that might have some incidence on the distance I could travel. So by the way, this is a lemonade smoothie that I've got. It seems to be the best option at that restaurant. Most of the things there are not recommended. I don't recommend that you take anything other than either their veggie burger plain, or I think their fish, I think, is okay too. That's about it. The rest is not recommended by me for Harvey's. Yeah, someone was saying earlier in the chat that I went to McDonald's. I didn't. When they said that, I actually was at A&W, which was my favorite place for onion rings. Sadly, everything they've got there is not recommended. So A&W is not recommended by me. I didn't know beforehand when I went there the first time. Now I know, so I'm going to get the veggie burger only at Harvey's. No fries, nothing next time. Maybe a smoothie like this. It's a nice iced lemonade, actually, not a smoothie. This time that I took last time, I took a smoothie, a peach smoothie, which was more expensive and a lot tastier. The lemonade was good. It was refreshing. A bit too cold for my taste. I always get brain freeze when I take more than 2 quick sips. So that's why you're gonna notice at the end I'm taking my time to finish it, because I don't want to have too much of a brain freeze when I go back. Already, if you see the footage later on, I had a little bit of a hard time getting back on the balance, probably because of it, because I was a little lightheaded from the cold, because it was a very, very hot day again, and with the gear it's also very hot. This morning I put a secondary camera in the front, so I've got a B camera in the front. Sadly, in the first footage that you saw today, I put it on the wrong way, so it's facing to the sky at the back. Beginner mistake, rookie mistakes that I made. So you've got 2 footages from the back, one from the sky and one from the ground. 2 bad angles, but at least you got a front angle that is reasonable, a little less shaky, I think, with the breast cam. But I'm gonna have to see. Maybe I'm gonna get that hat that I saw at the other store, cheap hat, which I could poke holes into and get the cameras fixed permanently in the proper direction. That would help out the footage. And so yeah, the battery range was better than expected, actually. For 1 hour I managed to get to that restaurant, which wasn't planned. I had planned to go probably a little bit less than this distance, or pedaling back, but I saw that actually using it solely as a kick scooter only, with the motor on, the electric motor, it's a little bit it's less interesting than I would think without battery pads. What I do now is I try to use the areas that are really tighter, the kick, in combination with the thumb cycling. I cycle the on and off of the motor just to keep a certain speed, but other than that I push with a kick. That seems to help out for the duration of the battery, and also it's a lot safer, especially when you see at certain areas there's a lot of people density. What I do in that case, I start to kick, and when I'm close to people I just kick it slightly less, so they're not intimidated, and they either let me go through, or I go on the sidewalk, off the sidewalk, and try to be fast enough to not disturb them. Or if I see children, I'm gonna just jump off the e-scooter and walk it to, be as safe as possible, because sometimes with children, especially when they're impressed or wondering what that is, they might inadvertently come in your path. So walking it is the safest thing. Same thing for some corners, street corners. You see a lot of wobbling. That's usually when I step off and start walking to avoid accidents. That way motorists who are not expecting something quick to go in front of them, they've got a pedestrian, so that's not a problem for them, not a problem for me. If they do a bad maneuver, I can I can avoid them more easily. So yeah, it's the best of both worlds, I would say. In an urban area like this, I think it's the best solution. Bikes are slightly more cumbersome, troublesome. In certain areas, you can't get off of the bikes most of the time easily if there's a problem, or if you feel uncomfortable because some truck might cut you off or a car might not have seen you. At least with this, you just put your feet off of it and you walk, and if the car seems to block your way, you're not in a precarious situation. So yeah, quite interesting device. I must say I wish I would go, like I said, a little bit farther away. I'm trying to find a way to either use a recharging battery as I use the e-scooter. The thing is, I've watched a lot of videos and on other models that are similar to this one, they seem to say that the manual says to not charge while turning it on, so that pretty much would stop my plan on doing that. Using a recharging battery at the same time as using the e-scooter to, for instance, double or triple the range would have been perfect, but that doesn't seem to be recommended for battery life or battery safety. So I'm gonna probably try to find some other means. Maybe a solar blanket. They don't seem to be quite there yet. They got some type of blankets that they call, but it's actually thin panels that are not really foldable as I would like. Eventually I'm gonna look more into it, and also I'm looking for a mosquito net, so when I stop at certain areas, in urban areas it's not really a problem. In parks you sometimes see the mosquitoes come at you because of course it's still a little exercise, so you sweat a little more, and mosquitoes tend to home in onto your breath and your heat signature more than other people. So if I had some sort of a contraption that I could just put certain netting around me for when I stop for a longer time to assess things, for instance, if I want to do a live stream or an offline commented tour, for instance, at the park or things like that, it's more comfortable, because oftentimes I'm gonna have 15 minutes set up at least to prepare the cameras, set them up, tie them up, put them in their positions, and that gives them time to come and have a snack on me. So I don't really want them to the mosquitoes to leave too many itchy souvenirs. So that's about it for the battery. No further testing. I've pretty much done what I've wanted. 1 hour is fine. So if I go to places that offer recharging, I'm gonna recharge it for 1 hour and be on my way to the secondary place. I'm still testing out for live streaming areas. This one had no Wi-Fi at all. It's true, I didn't test the other Harvey. The only place I found that had poor Wi-Fi at the moment was at Harvey and at my banks. The two banks had Wi-Fi. One bank had short time, so I would have like 5 minutes to actually. The other bank seems to offer it unlimited, but I'm probably being monitored, so I probably won't do that too often. It's near the big park, so that could be interesting. If I could get the signal just across, I could probably do a live stream from the park on the Wi-Fi signal from my bank, and it's a good argument that I have a good bank account with them, so they shouldn't argue too much. We'll see if I can get them to let me have a permanent password for that. At the moment it's still open for members, so I guess it should be fine. And so yeah, those are my two main areas of concern at the moment. Extended battery range. So still looking for options for that. Maybe, bringing a recharging battery and having to stop charge for an hour with the charger. I think it would be good for 2 stops. So would have to stop for 1 hour for instance at a park, charge the battery up, go at a different location, then charge the battery up again, then head back to base. So that would be another option. Longer, less favorable, but still possible. The other possibilities are at the back stage at the moment, because I really want to make it electrical 100%, but I might have to go hybrid eventually. So we'll see. It all depends on the development of batteries and of solar panels in the near future, hopefully. Also, what I've seen is that, like I said, when it reaches about 20% or a little bit before 20% life battery, according to the display, I'm not sure if it's accurate, but let's suppose it is. So the battery would start to struggle at about 60% of battery. So from 80 or 100 to 60, it's fine. The torque is there, the speed is there. When you start hitting 60% of the battery life, the speed lowers from about 2 or 3 kilometers down. So you notice that there's something odd, and it starts cycling when you're at the low speed setting. It will start cycling, like giving high torque and giving low torque. So it's a little bit disconcerting when that happens. What I've seen is I put it on high rate, and when I put it on high rate, in that case, if I want to go full speed, it doesn't struggle. The only inconvenience is on sidewalks like this. High speed is actually a little bit high. It would be best in the streets, but with the current situation, I have to limit myself to the sidewalks. So I have to cycle the high speed myself. What I do is I go to a higher speed than I would get on the lower setting when I'm halfway, when I'm at 60% or about halfway, and it give me a boost and let me cruise. And then I gave me a boost, a little bit like if I was kicking, but I can't really easily kick at those speeds because it's a little higher than what I would usually cruise at if I was just using leg power. So give it a push and start. So maybe you're gonna notice it in the next footage. It cycles a little bit, and that allows me a better control, because I know when the torque is gonna let go, because I'm letting it go, and then I'm putting torque back to get to a higher speed, then I'm letting it go to get back to an average speed. So it seems to be helping out. That way the battery goes down to 40%, and when it reaches 40%, it seems to shut off completely. Not sure why. I'm not sure if it's truly 40% or if it's actually the lowest setting for that battery, but I just know that it shuts completely off, and then you have to finish. I finished the last leg of the trip. You're gonna see later on. Trying to kick it for a while, but struggling against the electric motor while kicking is not really pleasant. So I prefer walking it. I turn it into a sort of well, actually I just push it like like if I pick it from the back and I pull it like that goes pretty well. It's the way I cross the street when I walk. As well. Then the other way I like to carry it is like a golf setting. The inconvenience of that is the wheel. The best wheel for that is the motor wheel. So sadly you're struggling still against the motor, but it's a little more balanced when it's in a golf bag kind of mode. Ideally, I don't know if there's going to be a way. I'm going to try maybe to hack it later on. Maybe replace the battery in a better way, cut the cut a few things off, lower the electronics, and that would enable me to use the non-electrified, non-magnetized wheel to bring it as a golf bag mode, and it would allow for an easier carrying scheme. Alright, so I'm gonna say goodbye for now. See you later.